In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Azure Stream Analytics to detect an anomaly from a stream of sensor data and then use Power BI to display the results. So here I've got my Groove Epic controller device that is reading the temperature data from this temperature sensor connected to its analog input module. So I've got my industrial controller sending temperature sensor data to Azure IoT Cloud via the IoT Hub gateway, which I've already created. So what I want to do is to have an analytics software that consumes this data coming out of the IoT Hub and process the data in real time to detect any anomalies. So for that, I'm going to use Azure Stream Analytics, which comes with inbuilt machine learning functions. And then I'll pass the results to a Power BI dashboard for visualization. Okay, so I'll go ahead and create my Power BI here. Okay, once I'm logged into my Power BI, I'll go ahead and create a new workspace. And then I'll call it Stream Analytics Workspace. Okay, now I'll go into my Azure portal. So the first thing that I want to do here is I want to go into my IoT Hub. So what I want to do here is that I want to create a new consumer group so that my Stream Analytics job doesn't interfere with other services that are consuming data from this IoT Hub. So I'll go into built-in endpoints, and then I'll enter the name of my consumer group. Okay, now to create a new Stream Analytics job, I'll go to create a resource. And then here I'll select Analytics. And then I'll select Stream Analytics job. And then here I'll enter the name of my Stream Analytics job. Okay, so that's done. I'll go ahead and create my new Stream Analytics job. Okay, so my Stream Analytics job has been successfully deployed. So here I'll click on All Resources. And then under All Resources, I'll select my Power BI Analytics job. Okay, so what I want to do here is that I want to configure my Stream Analytics job to accept temperature data from the Azure IoT Hub, process the data to try and detect anomalies, and then send that data to Power BI for visualization. So I'll begin by configuring the inputs. So I'll click on Input, and then I'll select Add Stream Input. And then here I'll put the input alias, which is the name that we will use to refer to our IoT Hub in our query. And then here I'll make sure that the correct Azure subscription is selected and that the correct IoT Hub is selected. And then you leave the other details as default. And then here under consumer group, we need to select the consumer group that we created specifically for our Stream Analytics job. Okay, and then I'll click Save to create our input. Okay, and then I'll go back to my Power BI Stream Analytics job. Now I want to configure the Stream Analytics job to send my output to Power BI. So I'll click on Outputs. And then I'll click on the Add Output button. And then here I'll select Power BI. And then again I'll put the output alias, which is the name that would use to refer to our Power BI in the query. And then here I'll enter the dataset name, which is the name that is going to appear on my Power BI as the data is being pushed there. And then I'll also enter a table name for storing the data. Okay, so that's done. So I'll click on Authorize to authorize the Stream Analytics job to push data to my Power BI dashboard. Okay, so the authorization was a success. So now we should be able to see the workspace that I created earlier on my Power BI dashboard. So I'll select it and then I'll click on save to create my output. Okay, so I'll go back to my Power BI Stream Analytics job. Okay, now I want to add a query to my Stream Analytics job that will do the actual filtering of the data, detecting an anomaly, and pushing that data to Power BI for streaming. So I'll click on Edit Query, and then I'll copy and paste my query here. So what is happening here is that my query is selecting time and temperature from the data coming out of our IoT hub. And then here I'm calling an inbuilt anomaly detection function. So I'll pass it the data point for which I want to detect an anomaly. And then I'll specify the confidence level, which is 99%. And then here I'm specifying the number of events that it must look at before it starts to make a prediction, which is 500 events. So this function will be able to detect any spikes and dips. And then here on the output, I'm selecting the time and temperature. And then I'm creating a new digital signal that signifies an anomaly. So if an anomaly is detected, this signal will go from 0 to 1. So overall, I'm sending my time, temperature, and anomaly signal to the Power BI. So I'll save this query, go back to my Stream Analytics job, and then I'll click on Start to start my Stream Analytics job. Okay, now if I go to my Power BI dashboard, then I select Stream Analytics Workspace, then go to Datasets. So you can see here our Stream Analytics dataset is appearing. So I can go ahead and create a dashboard based on this dataset. So I'll click on Create Dashboard, and then I'll call this my Temperature Dashboard. And then here I'll click on Add Tile, select Custom Streaming Data, Next, and then I've got my Stream Analytics dataset here. I'll select it, click Next. Now this one, I want it to be a line chart, and then here I'll click to add a value. I'll select time, and then here I'll click to add a value, and then I'll select temperature, and then I'll click Next, and then our title here is temperature. Okay, so there is our temperature showing there. For some reason it is fluctuating between 18 and 22, so we can go ahead and add another tile, and then this time we'll add a card, and then we select the temperature value, and then click Next, and then apply. Now I'll go ahead and add a tile for our anomaly detection signal. And then I'll put a line chart. I'll add time here, and then on the value I'll select is anomaly. Click Next, and then click Apply. And then I'll also adjust my time range for the temperature. Select data from the last 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll let enough time pass so that we can get enough events for our machine learning algorithm to learn to predict an anomaly. Okay, now if I apply heat here to the controller to create an anomalous condition, you see our temperature is starting to rise. And then there our anomaly signal goes from low to high. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video useful, please don't forget to like and share with your connections.